Welcome back, everyone. It's been a fantastic conference and happy to present our next company. We have Doubleview Gold Corp. It trades on the OTC Pink sheets under the symbol DBLVF and on the TSX-V DBG. Identifies, acquires, and finances precious and base metal exploration projects while increasing shareholder value through acquisition and exploration of quality gold, copper, and silver properties. Please welcome its president and CEO, Farshad Shirvani. Welcome, Farshad.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
We're happy to hear your presentation. The floor is yours when you're ready.
Sure, thank you. My name is Farshad Shirvani. I'm the president and CEO of Doubleview. I'm a geologist by trade and have been in the mining industry since 1990s and 1996, been in Vancouver, been involved in several mining projects and exploration and mining, mostly exploration. And I think I have collected a lot of experience during the years, and I present you today Doubleview Gold Corp. I initiated the Doubleview Gold Corp myself with two other individuals, my friends, and we started that from listing the company and properties, and picked up properties along the years. Previously I had about 40 projects myself that I was spending my own private money on them, and trying to find something very significant so I can really go and work on it. And, you know, for the fun of it, having a project that can create wealth for everyone, including myself. This is what we have. During the years, we started moving these projects by initial exploration of $25,000, then $150,000. I had a figure in mind, and that was my platform. And gradually, some of them I couldn't keep. I regret a couple of them, but the rest of them, as we kept and we spent money on them, we came forward. This project that I'm going to talk to you about is called HAT Project, and HAT was a grassroots project from the beginning. I optioned it from two geologists, and they were prominent geologists, and they are still. And I really liked it, and my liking was based on the immense number of soil samples, rock samples, and some very primitive IP and EM survey. And I saw the smoke, and where there is smoke, there is fire. I really liked it from the beginning. I explained it to you. HAT is supposed to be an alkalic porphyry deposit target at the beginning when I got involved. And the original discovery was a rock sample back in 1960s by a geologist called John Hoy. And this geologist picked up that sample. Then after that, Utah Mines, which is BHP Billiton of today, they did extensive surface sampling, soil, analyzed it for copper only, and somewhere in 1970s, they walked away from BC. They focused on some other areas, and in 1993, several little companies came and sampled and etc. In 1993, two geologists, they went and staked this project by helicopter, while one of them discovered about 3.5 kilometers to the west another project, and he liked this area much better than any other area. So the HAT project right now that we know it is located in northwest of British Columbia. If you look at the map, you see the map, south is US, and we are in northwest BC. Right now, what we know about the HAT is a new discovery, and we keep adding that to it. And today we know it's a polymetallic alkalic porphyry deposit with significantly elevated gold values. And commodities in this project right now, we know there are copper, gold, scandium, cobalt, palladium, silver, and we have seen elevated rhodium that we're going to review it in upcoming seasons in the future. So these are the major commodities. The next slide is about forward-looking statement. I will be making forward-looking statement in this presentation, and I caution the investors, please, to do your own due diligence on the material that I'm going to provide in here. And if you have questions, please ask at the end, or you can contact us by email or phone, and I'll be very happy to always communicate with everyone. The third slide. The project is Northwest British Columbia. It's located on the Kitimat-Stikine district, layered mining division, and is located 100 kilometers west of Dease Lake and about 45 kilometers northwest of Telegraph Creek. These two communities are really important to us because of what they provide to the project at this time and in the future. Very well-known mining, educated people from grateful Tahltan First Nation communities. All of them are the best people to deal with and very well educated. Right now, they are improving even in their expertise of different things like helicopter and drilling and labor forces. That I'm pleased that that they are near us. Going on the fourth slide, this is perhaps explaining that good saying the right address. It's Golden Triangle. It's very famous for the name Golden Triangle. What makes it very important is that green area that you can see it, dark green, and this is Stikine terrain. And if you look at all the mining spots or exploration spots that they are very important, they are all located on that terrain. The terrain is a combination of several formations that they came up under tectonic evolution. We don't want to go into details of geology. I know most people don't have that expertise, but this is what making that Triassic area very important. And we are located on the same system. And since the beginning, I knew about it. That's how I found the project before I knew who the owner is. The target is gold-rich alkalic type copper porphyry. Copper recently has been very important in the economy and in the future. We know it right now that the government of US is spending most probably $3.2 trillion in the economy and gradually is coming in. They approved $550 billion a couple of nights ago. And I believe in order to move the economy, you got to have resources. And these resources, one of the important aspects of that is copper. In this area, and currently and in the past, in mining, there's been 130 million ounces of gold identified. Some has been mined. 800 million ounces of silver has been mined or identified in this area, and more than 40 billion pounds of copper identified. This is keep growing. This data may be outdated, maybe from 6 months ago. We've had several other projects that they have increased their volume, and we are one of those companies, but we don't have resource calculation at this stage to add it to this system. Anyhow, we are a part of Golden Triangle, and we have a porphyry system that we have discovered. I tell you about the discovery of this project. It was, as I explained, it was a grassroots project, and we went there and we started landing and starting from scratch. And at the beginning, it was really hard. It was very, very, very hard to raise money because copper wasn't at the right price, and it was $1.80 to $2 barely. And over that time, my target was, hey, at this stage, I know copper is not hot, and you got to identify your system, you got to explore it, you got to discover it. When the market is ready, you got to be ready. And that was my target from the beginning, to make sure that I hit the time. And I think over time, it's been proven that we met our deadline. And right now, copper is the king of the commodities, I believe. Not all of it, but it's really one of the best to invest in. And I think it's going to get a lot hotter. The project is in Chesley district of Tahltan territory in northern BC, and the red area shows our project. One important aspect of this slide is the Golden Bear mine has a Golden Bear Mine Road, which is passing through southern part of our property. There are several things for a porphyry that makes it very valuable and important. It's not always the grade. The grade has to be really acceptable, has to have a minimum. And that grade, in our drill holes, we have shown that we always meet that criteria. And it comes over top of that. Gold is associated with it, silver, cobalt, palladium, and we have shown that they are recoverable. The other factor is if you have a road access to it, which is right there. One of the most important part of that is the road. The other thing is labor force. As I explained it to you, we're very close to Telegraph Creek. That's where the labor force expertise will help in future development once it goes to that stage. The other thing is the topography. This project is so flat. It's not mountainous, although all British Columbia is very mountainous and really high elevations. Almost you see it even in your backyard, you can see mountains. But this area is really flat. That helps it quite a bit. And water access, of course, and power. Power is very close to us compared to other mines. For instance, it's about 100 kilometers away from us, and that in the scale of a porphyry system, that's very acceptable, and we have seen other mines that they have drawn that power line to them, and they're in production at this time, and they've had more than 100 kilometers. One of the other aspects of a porphyry deposit is the size. It has to have grade, size, topography, power line, road access, labor force, and some other factors, recoverability, and right commodity and right timing. All of them, they have to be in there. I believe we have the right timing. I have tabulated some of the BC copper deposits in here, and you see we see the ranks are all to tonnages like 4 billion tons, 3 billion tons, and going down by the copper content in here. And you see the grades are 0.2 and way high up there too, but the tonnage with the grade always, when the tonnage is increased, normally you see the grade decreases. I know the Sarcheshme mine in Iran is operating for 80 years, 33,000 people working there, and the grade is 0.15% copper, and they have 0.05 to 0.1 grams gold, and it's unpublished, but during the connections that I've had, they've told me those are values that we see. You see, it's very important to have the size, location, and the topography to work for you. That project, for instance, is really a mountain they scraped from the top, and during this 80 years, they made it just to be maybe close to flat, and they haven't gone to be a pit go down there. It's very lucrative, and it really creates wealth in here. We see ourselves to be amongst the top ones in here. I will explain it to you. One of the, now we are at the slide that it shows that the Hat deposit is alkalic copper gold porphyry deposit, polymetallic, and one of the previous news releases that we have it in here, we have 235 meters of 1.04 grams gold equivalent in here, or 612 meters of 0.58 grams per ton gold equivalent. Very significant results are, this is our latest results in drill hole 34. There are 2 more drill holes, 36, 37, yet to be announced, and hopefully we'll receive the assays soon, and we're gonna announce them. It may, some previous investors, current investors know it, that we had delays on that, and the reason for delays, there are some other criteria that we had to pass and analyze and prepare, and those were mostly the causes of delay in this reporting. And we're going to report it very soon, hopefully. Going on the project itself, how we discovered it. It was 50% was basically the geology and the location, and the other 50% was based on the IP survey that we had it at the time. It was 3-4 lines IP, very cheap IP. I had to do it. Needless to say, at the time, I couldn't raise money. It was hard to raise money. I had to put my house online and raise money that way and start the exploration. And the first discovery was really, really hard. But we started with that area which is circled as Lyle deposit. You see, it's located on the edge of what is chargeability IP. And this chargeability was the start of our project, and we discovered it. Then from there on, gradually we increased the footprint on that. If you look at the IP only covers a portion of our project. This IP, we optioned the project at some point to Hut Bay, and Hut Bay did extensive IP, 3D IP, very expensive, with extensive work and geology. I believe their geologists loved, and they still love this project. And for some other unrelated reasons to the geology and whatnot, they had to go. And I'm very lucky in that sense that they did the work and they went, and we had humongous benefit out of that. And nothing could have happened to us better than this. We came up with immense number of data, and millions is spent, at least more than a couple of million, and we got this data and marked where we have to go, and they gave us, still we're working based on their geologist footprint of what they told us to do. What they came up was this slide, which is slide number 9. This slide, you see the 3D IP on the center. On the right-hand side, you see the top view of that. That's the plan view. And you see the footprint is almost 2.7 kilometers by 3.7 kilometers. And those red highlighted are more than 10 millivolts. That shows it has worked for us. But still beyond that, maybe a couple of very significant holes, they were adjacent to this, and they weren't inside the IP as well, but they had significant mineralization. That's how the IP works. It doesn't give you an absolute location, but it always gives you the causality to where the sulfides appear, because sulfides are, they accept induced electricity or polarization, and that's chargeability, and that's what we identify. If you look at it, there are 3 zones we have so far named in here. Hoi zone, this is very significant in copper, cobalt, gold, and other commodities. Cobalt has been traced over 400 meters in that zone, and it's very significant. We haven't drilled it yet. It's remained to be drilled in the future. The reason we haven't done that because our initial discovery was the lag zone, and lag zone was easy to follow, not easy, but easier to follow, and that's where we started. The lag zone, which is covering maybe the largest in this IP work, is about 2 kilometers for us. And this 2 kilometers is very important. To the north, we have cobalt, extensive cobalt values, gold values, and towards the south, the gold values and the copper values are higher. On the west side, which is ozone, at the moment we don't have the assay results, but we know this area, we have seen sulfides, and I'm sure that's going to work for us. And we have announced it in the past that we have such a thing. I better go faster because I'm running out of time. This is a sample of what we have drilled into that IP, and you see there are all drill holes that they really worked. Most significant one is maybe not the most significant about the assays, but the best is H026. You see the top is located inside the magenta area and the bottom in the magenta area. Both they were mineralized, in between less mineralized, and that shows the integrity of this IP survey. This IP survey is very important to me because right now we have several tests on it, and all the tests proven that they work for us, and hopefully in the future we're going to follow up. For now, based on what we have had in the plans from the previous partner, and we're going to follow up on that, and later on we can follow on this footprint. This footprint is very large and very significant. This is a sample of mineralization that we've had. So we have very good potential to have very high grade gold, copper, cobalt on this area. There are many other things that we found out in just past few months that we have to review that in the future, the same as the scandium or rhodium, that we put it on our horizon to move and work on them. The most important thing on them is the metallurgy. These are another view of the same system. You can see the Lyle deposit from the south on the northwest photo slide. You see that's the Hoi zone that we have to go and later on work on it. These are the samples that we tabulated in here, and great samples, great length, and great values. One of the most important thing in a porphyry deposit is you have to think of future. In the future, if this one is proven to be viable to be a mine, you got to have a starter pit. You see some of those values, they're starting just from the surface, and it will give us that. I have examined most to be of lesser risk to the investors and the future. And this is a layout of current Lyle deposit, and it's extensive. Hopefully this year, I'm going to push it to 1.5 kilometers, go drill to the north and to the west side of it, and trying to encapsulate an area so we can have a resource calculation soon. Exceptional potential. We have demonstrated that we have high-grade mineralization. The size is very, very important. We have the size and the footprint. We have examined the IP to be working, and we have very confident on that. I think I suffice with here so people can ask questions. I can answer to questions that they may have.
All right. Thank you, Farshad. Yes, let's get into some of these questions. So a viewer is asking, can you tell us more information on scandium, such as sulfide versus acetate, chloride, fluoride, and iodide? What is the availability of each in the world? And any information would be helpful so we can potentially understand the value of each.
Yes, I'm not a metallurgist, but what I understand and learn from our metallurgists and several online material, I will tell you. The scandium oxide maybe is the cheapest one in the market. It's not necessarily the easiest one, but it's the cheapest one, and it's about $4 to $12 per gram. And that's one of the cheapest one. It goes all the way to scandium fluoride. And the reason we have different combination of these is the metallurgy. Once the original rock is passed through different metallurgical processes and successfully giving you some scandium, then you have one of those products. And which one to get, it's all depend on original rock and plus your capex, the value that you want to put on the project to extract that material. If it is too expensive, you don't have the volume, of course, you try to get the cheapest one possible. We have commissioned coffee, a Tetra Tech company. They're really experts in this processing, and we've commissioned them to give us the process and which one is viable and works for our project. Hopefully, we're going to receive it soon and we're going to announce it. So the difference is just in metallurgy and how to process and the value that you want to put on the capex for future development.
Thank you for that answer. So holes 36 and 37 were drilled in November and December of 2020. Have you received the results? And when will investors and shareholders know the results?
Yeah, hopefully we're going to announce them very soon. We have to announce them as soon as we receive verified and announce them. Eagerly, I'm awaiting those as well.
Do you have any plans to uplist in the US to the OTCQB or QX from Pink?
Yes, we have applied for that for QX. And I believe it was about 10 days ago we have applied for that. And I have been told we're going to receive something like about 3 weeks, maximum 4 weeks, that we'll start trading on QX.
And regarding the Hatch site, is it on native, historically sensitive territory at all?
It is located on the Tahltan territory. We have an agreement with them, communication agreement, and hopefully we're working with them and trying to always get them involved. Of course, for any area that you want to do mining anywhere in the world, you have to have social licensing and you have to earn it. That's what we're doing.
Talk a little bit about the drill program for 2021. When exactly will it start and how will it be financed?
Yes, right now we are in the process of working on employee people, drilling companies, and different things right now, extensively working on it. Hopefully soon we're going to announce that we're going to go work. The company is well financed. We have about $5.2 million or plus in the treasury and very low burn rate. Most of that money is going to go for drilling, of course.
Can you tell us what majors are producing around you, and do you have any plans for a joint venture with any of them?
The majors that they are near us, I really don't work in the mining, but Red Chris is a company belong to a major that's about 100 kilometers away from us, and several other majors are Glore Creek and other deposits that are nearby. As far as the JV goes, or any other deal with majors, I don't have right now any information that I can share with anyone, but it's always these projects. We're a junior mining company, of course, and we find them, we show the size, we show the value, and at the end, some major has to take over and move on to the next level.
So you made it clear that you see the most potential for growth in copper. How soon are you going to produce that versus any of the other metals you're exploring?
Right now, we're not in production. We're not a company that can go in production. Maybe, I don't know. I'm very resilient. I may exercise that one too, but it needs a lot of money, capex, and it needs a lot of courage to do that kind of production. Such a project is long ways away, but the value worth it doing that. I don't think we're gonna stay that long to go to production. Somebody else should do it.
All right. Well, we have a few more questions for you, but we're going to send them directly to you so you can answer our viewers on your own time. We really appreciate this presentation, and we certainly hope that you come back and present with us again.
Thank you, for sure. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
Our pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you so much. It's been a fantastic day of presentations. And remember, in just a moment, you'll be redirected to the registration page for our next conference. So be sure to stay on to reserve your spot early. So on behalf of all of us at Emerging Growth, I'd like to thank all of our presenters and attendees for helping make this Emerging Growth Conference such a great success. Remember that a complete replay of this conference, separated by companies, will be made available on the Emerging Growth Conference YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Emerging Growth Conference. So please subscribe. Also follow us on Twitter at Emerging Growth C. We post all new information to Twitter first. I'm Anna Berry, and on behalf of myself and our whole team who made this event possible today, I wish you all a great rest of your day, a very successful week, and we're looking forward to seeing you all back on our next conference. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.